Now listen up.
Because Insights EDU 2025 is coming, and this is the conference you don't want to miss. Meet us February 12th through 14th in New Orleans for one of our favorite higher education marketing and enrollment management events of the year. Imagine 3 days packed with actionable insights and the latest innovations in higher ed. We're talking top industry experts, real-world case studies, and hands-on workshops designed to help you grow your programs, boost engagement, and elevate your student experience. This is your chance to hear the latest higher ed trends from speakers at Google, Reddit, Meta, MIQ Digital, and schools across the country. Mark your calendars, get your team, and get ready to welcome the era of the modern learner at Insights EDU 2025. Register now at insightsedu.com and secure your spot. We'll see you there.
Attention.
Registration is now open for the Middle States Commission on Higher Education 2024 Annual Conference, Protecting the Future, Champions for Higher Education, December 11th through 13th, 2024 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Don't miss out. Register today at msche.org/annual-conference or head to msche.org and click on the conference link. I'll see you there.
Hey, everybody. This is Elvin Freitas, co-founder of the EdUp Experience. Did you enjoy that conversation? I hope you did. Did you know that you can actually hear this conversation early on and ad-free? And you can also hear extended episodes, bonus episodes, original content. That's right, original content and invites to special events, all while helping to sustain EdUp. Did you know that? Well, if you didn't know, now you know. To become a subscriber, go to edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com to subscribe to our free email newsletter to learn how you can get access. Again, that's edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com.
Welcome back, everybody. It's your time to EdUp on the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business. This is Dr. Joe Solucio back with you on another episode. You know, we're fast approaching 1,000 episodes of this podcast over the last 5 years. Lots of incredible content. But I will tell you, my guest today, before I bring him in, we had about 20-minute conversation, which is very rare for me. Usually I just introduce myself, jump in to the conversation. But the product he has is so stinking fascinating that I could not stop asking my questions. In fact, I had to stop myself so that I could allow enough recording time. And I'm pretty sure we could have kept going for the entire hour and I would have forgotten to record. But Elvin Freitas, co-founder and producer, would have kicked my behind because he scheduled these for me. And as I told my guests, sometimes it takes some scheduling gymnastics to get this stuff actually done. But our goal here at the EdUp Experience, as you know, is to bring you the most interesting topics in and around higher education, use cases, possibilities, and that keyword possibilities is what I want you to focus on today as we bring in our guest. Once you learn about the product he has, how could we use this in higher education to catalyze our business models? That's a question I have for you today to think about. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring him in right now. He's Emil Jimenez. He is CEO and founder of MindBank AI. Emil, welcome to an EdUp Mic. How are you?
I'm doing well, Joe. Thanks for the applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you.
And where are you, Emil?
I'm sitting in the funny city called Prague, Czech Republic. I was yesterday in Oktoberfest, and I'm a little sore throat from screaming and having a good time. So hope we have a good episode.
We will, no doubt about it. I'm sure you had a very tame and boring time at Oktoberfest.
Yeah, just 2 liters of beer. That's it. Just
well, what we can say about that is that we're all about having fun here at EdUp, and you know, MindBank AI is the company that you lead and you founded. First, tell us in layman's terms, what is MindBank AI?
In a very simple layman's term, it is you digitized.
It's me digitized. Emil, I'm not so sure anybody wants 2 of me around.
Yeah, everyone, maybe there's a million of you. Everyone wants a piece of you. And if you look at it, the podcast is a digitization of you.
Yeah, that's true.
Voice, it is your story. It is people coming on there and digitizing so that you can then scale that and share. We're doing exactly the same thing. The only difference is that I can have a conversation with you. I can have a conversation with that digital version. And the way we do that is simply you have a lot of content that you've already have sitting around. We ingest that into our systems and it creates let's call it a large language, an open AI version of you, kind of, right? To keep it layman's. So it's a digital version of you. Now, the implications of that are tremendous because, we don't like to call it artificial intelligence. We like to call it augmented intelligence because it is an augmentation of you.
Okay, so let me understand this. So what you're saying is I have content. I have written content. I have podcasting content. I have, recordings,
Articles,
and I've done
publications, lecture
presentations.
notes. Yeah.
So you're going to ingest all of this and you're going to create when you say digital twin, is this a life model decoy here? Is this what, is me on a computer screen that's not me, or me talking on a phone and it's like an automated version of me? What medium am I digitized in?
So we use sound, so a voice. So basically we take your content, your knowledge, digitize that, and we take your voice, we clone that, and now you have a talking version of you. We don't have the physical part yet because the technology in general is not there, and the ones that are there, it looks kind of weird, and so it's not there yet. Right?
Yeah.
Let's put it this way.
Don't give me 4 fingers on my, or 7 fingers on one hand.
Yeah, exactly. But and if you look at it also, the way we consume data, rather consume media, it's, we like to call it like a soul, the digital twin, because it can live on a computer, on your phone, in your car. The voice has power, right? The voice, and there's also, when you close your eyes and you think of someone or you hear their voice on the phone, you don't need to see them. You have the picture in your head, and that we want to kind of leverage that, because there's no eye in the world that's going to create what's in your head.
So hypothetically speaking, I'm on a website. It's my digital twin. I put in a prompt of some kind, and it basically responds as if it were me. I mean, that's essentially through voice, and it says, "Hey, Emil, thanks for asking the question about term models in academics. Here's what I think the best term models are."
Exactly. So if you trained it on term models and it's in your MindBank database, it's going to retrieve that information. And
Are you kidding me?
This sounds too good to be true, almost, Emil. I mean, I just put in a prompt on Claude today to make me a LinkedIn post. You're saying you can clone me and my knowledge, essentially, almost.
We're cloning knowledge, exactly. We're cloning knowledge. We like to call it, when you're building the digital twin, we like to call it the consciousness. And when you're adding data into your consciousness, we always say, be conscious of what you're adding to your consciousness, right? Because there's a lot of garbage out there, and we don't care about your Twitter rants, or the selfie you took eating your taco yesterday. That's garbage data. The knowledge that people pay you for, that you are conscious of building in your frameworks and your articles or whatever it is that you do that you're conscious about, that's the beauty, right? That's what you want to scale. That's what you want to leverage. And that's what we help you with. So when we take that data, ingest it into our platform, clone your voice, and now you have a website that anyone can go to and have a conversation with Joe at any time of the day. So an interesting use case here, to be quite honest, is when you look at adult learning.
Yeah.
What's self-paced. I've got 2 kids and a job, and I couldn't make it to class, but I'm reading the notes, I'm doing the videos, and it's 11:30 in the evening. That's because, I put the kids to bed, and that's when I can study. I'm stuck in a particular topic or a particular issue. And today, what do? You kind of try to crank on it, you Google stuff, or you send an email to a professor frustrated, right?
Yeah.
In our platform, and in some use cases that we have already with some professors, that literally you can go to the website of the professor and say, "Hi, Professor Joe. I don't understand this topic. Can you elaborate a little bit about X, Y, and Z?" And it'll understand what you're saying. And this is conversational. You don't have to type anything. You can literally speak to it. And it'll understand what you're saying and say, "Okay, this is what this framework is about, blah, 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 blah," and try to give you another perspective on that, right? And and give you and answer your question, basically. So
the advantage over like a regular LLM, right? So I was in that same scenario. I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I go on to AI and say, explain this topic to me. I'm getting a written output, accuracy, not sure, because I don't know what the inputs were on the AI, right? So the advantage here is I'm hearing the information that my professor, hypothetically, inputted into the MindBank, his MindBank.
Not hypothetically, actually. Because you're taking lecture notes, publications, articles, whatever that professor ingested into that digital twin is now the brain of the digital twin. Right? And
okay, so I'm getting it from the source.
You're getting it from the source, right? And you're getting it directly from the source. Yeah,
I mean, that's such an advantage, right? Because there's so many stories out there of AI, LLMs producing information and it's off a little bit. And, you have to be really careful. What you're talking about is really, it's taking AI to the next level. It's almost like a personalized AI output.
That's exactly what it is. It is a personalized AI. And if you look at, what I try to educate people is like, if you look at what is an LLM, large language model, right? There's a lot of these out now. English is a large language model.
Yes.
You speak English, I speak English. Your education and your background and my education, my background is the personalized layer of that language model. If I'm a doctor, I speak a different language of English, than if you're a marketing expert, right? We both speak English, but the personalized layer on top of that is what makes you a doctor, what makes me.
That is the best way anybody's ever explained LLMs to me or to my audience, right? Because that makes a lot of sense. It's like, oh yeah, you're right. It's a personalization of a large language model.
Exactly. And so what we do is we add a layer of that personalized on top. That's you. Right. And the beauty of this is that now that language model could be Spanish, French, Czech, German. It's still your brain.
Yeah.
It's your personalized brain, but it's speaking German, or helping the student whose language is German. And a use case we have now that we're building is it's a global executive program. And when you're doing a global executive program, I did the global exec program myself with the essay in Barcelona. There were 51 students, 38 countries, I think it was.
Wow.
Think about that for a second. The program is in English, but for the vast majority of the people, English is not their mother tongue. I think, honestly,
Inconceivable!
I think 5 people in the program might have been native English speakers. I was the only American. 3 or 4 from the UK. Right? And then everyone else was like, Finland, Germany, Kenya. Well, they speak English, but like Ivory Coast, South America, right? And that's the world we live in, right? The people consume content might not be English native speakers, right? So they might need to kind of rewind a little bit and say, what did the professor say again? And I was telling a story today about my mom. My mom got her master's degree in 1979 from Columbia University Teachers College. Pregnant with me, going through her master's program, just landed in the country maybe 10 years before. And obviously English was not her.
Right.
She spoke it, but when you're taking a master's class in Columbia, it's a different it's a different kind of challenge. So back in the day, what she had to do is write a letter to the publisher of the textbook and say, do you have this in Spanish? Bought the Spanish version, and she had the English and the Spanish version. She's like going between the 2 versions. That's 1979. 2024, she could just speak to the textbook and say, hola, no entiendo esto. ¿Me puedes explicarlas? I don't understand this. Can you explain it to me? In English or in Spanish.
So if I input everything in English into my MindBank, all my articles, is it going to, are you saying that it's going to convert itself to different languages?
If you want it to, it can. We have the capabilities. Yes.
You have the capabilities. So I could say, let me just give you a scenario. I was in Colombia, Cartagena last week, and I was giving a keynote presentation on digital transformation for higher ed to all of our users at Ellucian, where I work. And obviously, I have to say, right when I open the presentation, I have to say, lo siento, no hablo español. I'm going to do this in English. And most of the audience pulls out their translator and puts their translator on. There's a delay between and there's live translators there. There's a delay though, right? So I'm asking questions like, raise your hand if you have this happen. Nobody raises their hand. And then I keep going, and all of a sudden, 5 seconds later, I see all these hands go up, and I'm going, wait, what happened? So hypothetically, could that be delivered in Spanish through my digital twin in real time? Mark your calendars now for February 12th through 14th, because this is where we welcome the era of the modern learner and the most anticipated higher education marketing and enrollment management conference of the year. We're headed to New Orleans for Insights EDU 2025. This year's event is packed with speakers from companies like Google, Meta, Reddit, and MIQ Digital, and schools across the country. Ready to learn how AI is transforming the marketing landscape and how to adapt your programs to the preferences and demands of the modern learner? Then Insights EDU 2025 is where you need to be. Register now at insightsedu.com.
Attention.
Registration is now open for the Middle States Commission on Higher Education 2024 Annual Conference, Protecting the Future, Champions for Higher Education, December 11th through 13, 2024 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Don't miss out. Register today at msche.org/annual-conference. We'll see you there.
Hey, everybody. This is Elvin Freitas, co-founder of the EdUp Experience. Are you enjoying the conversation so far? Good. I hope so. Did you know that you can actually hear this conversation early before anybody else and ad-free, so you don't have to hear my voice during these ads? And did you also know that you could get extended episodes, bonus episodes, original content? That's right, original content and invites to special events, all while helping to sustain EdUp? Well, if you didn't know, now you know. So go to edupexperience.com, that's EDUP experience.com, and become a subscriber today. First, you got to sign up to our free email newsletter, and then you'll find out how to become a subscriber. Again, go to edupexperience.com.
The real-time part is the challenge, right? Because there's processing you need to do, but relatively real-time, faster than a translator probably. I would say a bit different where, okay, in this particular use case that you're saying, you could
preload.
The people attending that conference, after the conference, could have a conversation with you in Spanish. And you've trained it on the stuff that we were discussing. Right, I would say that's a more targeted use. If you're on stage,
or you could preload. Hypothetically, you're saying I could preload my talking points into the presentation or into the MindBank ahead of time and have it delivered almost. Right. So what I'm getting at though is this gives you an opportunity to really vary your content to multiple audiences.
Yeah, definitely, and expand global reach for sure. I would say the only challenge that you might face is phoning your voice in Spanish. You're going to sound funny.
Well, I already sound funny, Emil, when I speak Spanish, so that's not going to really be that different. Yeah.
Because I gotta say, because that's kind of there are tools out there that you can kind of make, we can make it sound like you. But in the use case we have now is that you go in there, you upload 2-3 minutes of your audio file, we clone that in English or whatever that is. If you make that voice speak in German, then it'll say the words in German, but it'll sound like a gringo. It'll sound really bad German. Let's put it this way. So like my German colleagues, they have to create like a voice in German, right, and then a voice in English of them speaking, the German guy speaking in English, right? So it's the German guy speaking English, right?
Right. I want to get back to higher ed because my mind is spinning with possibility. And in higher education, really any education, but in higher ed in particular for our industry right now, one of our biggest challenges now and will be into the future, and it's because students are who they are, is retention. How do I keep students in school? I want to keep them in school for two very clear reasons. One, because I need to create outcomes. My business model is I have to take the student and they need to complete their degree. That's how I judge the quality of my institution, is I create good outcomes. But two, because that student who is continuing does pay tuition, which funds my business. If the student drops out of school, obviously I have a non-completer and I have somebody who's not paying. So my net tuition revenue and my outcomes are all based on keeping a student in school. And I'm thinking about these possibilities of how a digital twin can enhance retention, enhance the ability for me to create outcomes and net tuition and money, because a student will not get lost at times when they would get lost when they're tracking down a faculty member, when they don't feel supported. What if the digital twin is IT support? I mean, you think about all these possibilities and go, wow, instant feedback when you need it to keep you involved in what's going on campus, and or for online students. You're talking about major business model enhancement here, Emil.
Yeah, and the use cases, we're just getting started, right? With the business models, right? So to take a helicopter view at what you were saying, I would say we need to start looking at education from a perspective of lifetime value.
Yes.
You don't just go to school for a year, right? Or elementary school education is a lifetime endeavor. And then if you look at what we sell, we're ingesting attribution at certain points of the person's life and saying, okay, now you're going to study business, or study law, or study algebra, whatever that subject is that builds upon the next, right? Now, what happens when you're discussing, why do we lose students? And I come from a home where my mother was a teacher, dean, guidance counselor. She did the whole racket. She went through the whole process, and I lived it firsthand. And it was in an inner city, school in New York City. So it was like, why did there were a million reasons why kids left. Let's talk financial. Let's talk about getting pregnant and drug dealing and blah, blah, blah. That's like the external side, right? The stuff that's in the environment, which plays a huge role.
Yeah.
Right. Then there's the other part where it's the stuff that's internal, which is I don't speak the language very well.
Right.
I can't communicate to the teacher. I'm distracted in class. I'm the smartest kid in the class, so I'm bored and I'm distracted and I'm not challenged. So I just whatever, doodle all day or whatever. So there's a million reasons for it. But what I look at is it comes down to, okay, is there an actual desire from this person to learn, right? And if you can inspire someone, you see the light go off on their eyes, There's whatever that is, And I think the digital twin we want to get it to a point is okay, how do I build a digital twin of the student that then personalizes the content that's prepared by the professor?
Tell them like it is.
So so if you start looking at that kind of possibilities, you're just like, wow, I can tailor a piece of content to a very particular student that wants to learn a certain way. I'm a big thinker. I hate going into the details. I like to convince me that I should learn this, and then let's go into the details.
Yeah.
Or someone's completely opposite. They want to go into the details, and then they see the big picture, So to your point, I think we're just getting started, man. It's.
You think about, the number of use cases in higher ed is unlimited when you think about it. But I just had this thought randomly, if I had a digital twin of my wife, could I practice arguing with her to try to get a night out with my friends? You know what I mean? You start to think about these things, or if somebody close to you passes away and they had a digital twin and you wanted to talk to, just you think about the emotion.
That's the foundation of the idea. This whole thing started with me wanting to build a digital twin of myself for my daughter so that she can always have daddy.
Yeah. And more importantly, how old's your daughter?
She's 9 now.
All right. So 4th or 5th grade math, you want to have a digital twin to help your daughter through her homework, which is a challenge for every parent.
Well, one of the reasons I'm in Prague right now is that we're actually doing a pilot project with a telco company here, that they want to do a tool, let's say, to help kids in their entrance exams, like SAT of setup, right? Where you're going in this case, like in Europe, you have actually entrance exams to a high school, right? Where the high school might be specialized in whatever, right? So, or the better schools get better, it's just how it is. They kind of set it up. So what we're doing is setting up a digital twin tutor on literature, math, and science, which is what the students are tested on. And, they've got their content, they know they need to study, and then they've got this tool that can help them,
Yeah.
fill in the gaps, right?
It's incredible.
Now the kid has to be motivated, right?
Yeah.
Usually you're motivated by fear, you're motivated by because your parents push you, and we'll see where this is going. But ultimately, the way I see it is like, okay, if you really want to learn and you don't have the resources to pay a SAT course or whatever, you've got this. There's a low cost, you build it and you can scale it. And now, the ideal scenario is that nobody's left behind.
Yeah,
Right?
especially in mental health. I mean, think about, we have so many students, and the mental health is a huge challenge on campuses, in homes, and wherever. And you just go, man, if we had someone at your campus or somebody who, mental health professional that is well known, and you had a digital twin of that person available to students 24/7 to prevent some things, for someone to have somebody to talk to that, maybe even get to a certain point and that person says, hey, we're going to send you over here to talk to this person or that person. But to have that instant, rather than being in your own head, to be able to have that voice to talk to.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Joe, because we have three main use cases or let's say verticals, as we call them. One is the consumer legacy preservation. Grandpa trying to record himself so his grandkids have him, or dad, or whatever.
Right.
We have what we call the work sona. I'm a worker and I sell my information, my knowledge. Either I'm a consultant or a coach or a professor.
Yeah.
Right. That's the work sona. And then there's the health care side, what we like to say the digital twin of you from a healthcare perspective, right?
Right.
So what we do with the digital twin is actually right now, as you ingest data, as you add data to your digital twin, we're actually analyzing also for emotional and personality changes. Because what that does, it fields the personality of the digital twin. What are your emotional triggers? What are your, how do you change as a person, right? Like you do a leadership course. Are you more open as a leader? Or like you start seeing yourself from a dashboard perspective.
Yeah.
And in mental health, this is an extremely useful thing. And we actually got an SBIR grant with the Air Force last year to kind of dive into this, to see how we can use our tool as a remote patient monitoring tool.
Wow.
Because you're journaling, you're seeing a dashboard of your mind as it goes. And imagine a mental health professional seeing your dashboard and say, okay, Joe's feeling sad for a long time. Let's give him a call, see how he's doing. Or if the person doesn't journal, that's a sign as well. Silence, right, and going into yourself and not being part of a community. All these are signs of depression. So when it comes to that, there's massive, massive potential there. And it's something that's very close to my heart because I had someone very close to me also commit suicide. Very, very close, right? And as I was developing this product, they committed suicide. I was actually journaling myself. And 6 months or so later, I saw my dashboard in like a longitudinal, I kind of took a step back and saw the 6-7 months of my dashboard. And I was amazed that I saw my PTSD. I saw the ups and the downs and the emotional variability. And I can't even tell you when I started getting better, right? When it started going back to a baseline. And it was just like, this is an amazing tool for that. And to the point where we're actually creating right now a prototype with the World Health Organization. It's going to spin off as a nonprofit. Hopefully, let's see where that goes, right? But because the tool is there, the technology is here, we have it, it's streamlined, it's there, and it's just about, okay, how do we get it into the hands of the right people?
Well, right. I'm wondering, so speaking of which, I'm wondering, challenging the audience here in higher education, who are those right people that we have in our audience? Which college presidents out there want to be trailblazers here? This is some amazing technology with incredible use cases for us to when you talk about wraparound student services, when you talk about retention, persistence, net tuition revenue, degree completion, this has mental health has massive implications for our industry. And I know, Emil, as we talked, we're really looking for some leaders here to take a product like this and say, here's how we can really scale this to 10,000 students, 100,000 students, whatever it were. And that's why we wanted to have you on the podcast, because I know I've got like 5 presidents in my mind out there that would just eat this up because they're doing innovative work, and this would be something that would catalyze their business beyond words. So, I'm excited, if you can't tell.
Thank you, Joe. And it's as you know, like, this product is a very personal story on both sides. It was inspired by my daughter, and then that person close to me committed suicide. So there's a lot of me in the product, right? A lot of my life in the product, and I definitely want to leverage that and help.
I love that. Is there anything else you want to say about MindBank AI before we close out the episode, Emil? Open mic.
No, I'd love for everyone to contact us or contact Joe and get in touch with us and let's run a prototype. We can get you up and running in about a day to a digital twin of a professor very quickly, very relatively cheaply, and we can discuss different use cases and see how we can take it from there. But I'm excited for being on the show, and thank you very much, Joe, for having me.
Yeah, I'll guarantee you one thing. Emil and I and Elvin are going to be meeting. We see massive implications for this product, not only in the work that we do, but our sort of slogan or motto or tagline is to experience lifelong learning no matter the path you choose. And when you look at something like this, you go lifelong learning. This is the baseline of what you do, mental health or education or the work personas. All of it is about learning more about yourself, learning more about something, and learning it through a digital twin. I mean, we're talking about next level stuff here right now. People want to know what the use cases are for artificial intelligence and these things in higher education. This is it. This is how you implement new technology into your institution. Ladies and gentlemen, he's Emil Jimenez. He is CEO and founder at MindBank AI. Emil, thanks for being here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Joe, for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just EdUp. Higher ed leaders ready to level up your marketing and enrollment strategy? Join us at Insights EDU February 12th through 14th in New Orleans. The ultimate higher education marketing and enrollment management conference is here. Take advantage of early bird prices until December 12th. Register now at insightsedu.com. Welcome to the era of the modern learner.
Attention.
Registration is now open for the Middle States Commission on Higher Education 2024 Annual Conference, Protecting the Future, Champions for Higher Education, December 11th through 13th, 2024 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Don't miss out. Register today at msche.org/annual-conference or head to msche.org and click on the conference link. I'll see you there.
Hey, everybody. This is Elvin Freitas, co-founder of the EdUp Experience. Did you enjoy that conversation? I hope you did. Did you know that you can actually hear this conversation early on and ad-free? And you can also hear extended episodes, bonus episodes, original content. That's right, original content and invites to special events, all while helping to sustain EdUp. Did you know that? Well, if you didn't know, now you know. To become a subscriber, go to edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com to subscribe to our free email newsletter to learn how you can get access. Again, that's edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com.